We've got us here a 1965 Super Reverb, 65 going by the date codes on the transformers. And let's just take a moment to appreciate this beautiful nickel plated chassis. This is just the prettiest they ever did. This blue, silver, nickel color is just gorgeous. There's some from the same period that kind of go a gold, kind of like you might see down here on the transformer, and a little hint of it here, but this nickel was just fantastic, the plating they used back then. Anyway, I have not looked inside. I got it out of the box, made myself not look inside yet. The things I know now are that it has a 3-prong power cable, a good sturdy one with a lot of length. If I need to make any changes to how it's attached, I've got plenty of length. I have removed the 4 screws that hold the doghouse in place so that you don't have to hear the noise of the drill, not really drill, electric screwdriver that I use to take them out. I always put them back by hand, but I like to take them out faster. I'm really looking forward to going inside and seeing what's there. But I thought I'd take you guys along on the journey. So let's open the doghouse. All right, this thing has been recapped at some point, and the old adhesion inside the doghouse was sticking to this cap right here. Sometimes that's a sign that there's going to be original stuff inside. We'll put that to the side and just confirm that there is no voltage waiting to get us. So from chassis here, nothing, nothing, nothing. Just in case there's a fault in the ground connection. I don't do this on every video, but people are always saying, why don't you check for that? You know, okay, I'll show it. I do it for every amp. I do it multiple times when working on amps. I just don't show it in every video. So these were all changed out in 1997. It is time for them to be changed out, and the owner wants me to use F&Ts. I will be glad to. And before flipping this over, let's make sure all the hardware on the transformers is tight. It very much is not, so let me finish this up and then we'll flip this over. Okay, down here in the bias, aside from the little bits of packing peanuts that have gotten inside this amp from previous shipment, and I'll fish all those out. I hate packing peanuts. You can see it's got an old spray cap here in the bias supply. That'll be changed out. As all the other transformer mounting hardware was loose, let's make sure this is better. This one was loose. This one was loose. And over here, they've got the ground of the safety cable going to this bolt. And that bolt's probably loose. Let's find out. Yeah, it's very loose. That's why I don't do grounds like that. So this AC safety ground will be redone to the chassis like all the original grounds in the amp. That's a much more secure connection than using the bolts, because the bolts, they vibrate, they have stress. The metals expand and contract as they change temperature. It's just not reliable. Let's check the fuse. Can't see because the value's at the other end. But now that I flipped it around, it is indeed a 2-amp fuse, slow blow. So back in it'll go. I like to have the fuse number at this end, so when you pull it, you can see it. Whoever installed the power cable almost did a great job. They have the hot going here to this side of the old polarity switch with no depth cap still present. And then it goes from there to the inmost connection on the fuse holder, and from there to the power switch, and from there to a primary. And they have the neutral going here, and from there to the other primary. So that's almost great. They did not have enough length on the ground wire, and it's going to that bolt, of course, but they also are relying on cable ties to keep this gland together, the cable clamp. We can do better than that. This amp deserves better than that. So they did an electronically pretty good job, just not perfect. While we have it, let's make it perfect. Original screen grids and grid stoppers on the output tube sockets. Let me measure those real quick. Let's check the grid stoppers first. 1.85, 2.4, very much on the high side for the grid stoppers and the screen grids. 117, that's crazy low, almost as short. And 565, that one's in spec, that one's failing. So I'm going to replace at least the screen grids, probably the grid stoppers as well, because there's no point in having something for the sake of it being original if by being original that means it's a failure. Looking through the rest of the amp, aside from the cathode bypass caps, which are also Sprague's, probably from 97, which also need to be replaced, everything else seems to be original except for this 3.3 meg here and this 100 ohm here in the phase inverter. This has been replaced, I believe. It's a darker color resistor than the other carbon composites, but it's possible it's original. It's the only 100 ohm in the amp, so maybe there's a different batch, but this 3.3 meg has been replaced. Everything else is good, or at least everything else is original. Hopefully everything else is still good. We'll find out once we recap this and power this thing on. The pots are all original. They're all very clean looking. There's little bits of packing peanut everywhere, so hopefully there are no bits of packing peanuts down inside the pots. But I will be removing all these pots from the chassis and cleaning up the connections, because they make ground connections from the pot shell to the brass strip. We get all those surfaces clean and retighten everything. It'll look exactly like it looks now. I will know that everything is secure. And in the process, I'll get every little bit of the styrofoam out, and hopefully they're not down inside a pot. I can fix that, but it's a pain in the butt, and it shouldn't be necessary. Don't use packing peanuts. All original knobs, all with the Snowman 8s. That's all good and all desirable. Pet peeve, they're all installed incorrectly, in that the one does not line up like that on all of them. I like all of them to be exactly mounted the same. Maybe that's just my OCD. The board looks almost immaculate. Very little dirt buildup, very little warping for an amp of this period. All the wires seem to be in good shape. Looks like there might have been liquid spill in this area at some point, but very minor. That can happen when you have exposed openings like these jacks, but I think this amp's going to sound fantastic once it's been recapped and given a little basic TLC. So it's quite nice to open an amp from 1965 and see that, yeah, it fell over with a cable plugged in and there's a little dent in this area. That's no big deal. A little ding down here, slings and arrows, but the material's all in great shape. All the original stuff that's important is in seemingly fantastic condition. It needs new electrolytic capacitors. The stuff in the output section over here that gets hot, got hot. We have some drift there, no big deal. The power cord could be installed a little bit prettier. These are all easy things to do. I love when I don't find any major problems, and I know that with just a little basic common sense, this thing can keep going another 20, 25 years before it needs more work. That's a great reflection on Leo Fender. Thanks for watching.